Hey, it's Mr. Woods here, and I'm going to be talking about the importance of art with the great question, what is art? And we'll be going through the first 19 slides. If we look at it from a psychological side, however, art is a term with a very much more extended meaning. It signifies essentially any adequate mode of self-expression, any outward act or attitude which conveys with a certain degree of purity and completeness and transparency the mental state, the idea and emotions that lie back on it. John Dewey. Here, Paul Klee writes, from the root the sap flows to the artist, flows through him, flows to his eye. Thus he stands as the trunk of the tree, and yet, standing at his appointed place, the trunk of the tree, he does nothing other than gather and pass on what comes to him from the depths. He neither serves nor rules, he transmits. No longer can we consider what the artist does to be a self-contained activity, mysteriously inspired from above, unrelated and unrelatable to other human activities. Instead, we recognize the exalted kind of seeing that leads to the creation of great art as an outgrowth of the humbler and more common activity of the eyes in everyday life. Albert Einstein believed that imagination was more important than knowledge. Art is the combination of the creative side of things with the aesthetic of the eye, which is perception, the hand, which is skill, and the mind, which is imagination. Here we're going to get kind of a sense or more of a clarification of what art could be. You have visual arts and tactile arts such as painting and drawing, things that you've done like an elementary art class, handcrafted arts, ceramics, throwing on the pottery wheel, fibers, textiles. You have technological arts, photography, you could be thinking in terms of graphic design, and environmental arts such as architecture, community structuring, and so forth. Now, concept art is non-permanent art that invites the viewer to actively participate, and it's pretty interesting. And then you have consumer arts, advertisements, magazine, television commercials. Art, it's a practiced skill. The more you draw, the better you are going to be at drawing. And in many past and present cultures, art was and is a part of everyday living. So they created what we would call functional art. Art experiences and art objects influence our life in every way. And I always tell my students, anything that you can see, tables, chairs that you sit on, touch, clothing that you wear, advertisements, everything's been created by some type of artist, some type of a designer. So we must practice the four major components of art in order to, achieve what we'd call excellence in art. So we need perception, production, aesthetic judgment, making, and valuing of art, and the study of cultural heritage. Now we're going to view art as a culture. Art is a form of universal communication with other cultures as well as in history. You can find it all through history, and art history ties into, world history, U.S. history. It's all there. It works together. Art has been a record of mankind's achievements and has, in such, been a reflection of a society that includes values, beliefs, and attitudes. And every culture has influenced the artist. And sometimes I transpose designer in with the term artist. Many contemporary American culture is a blending of many avenues of thoughts and beliefs. Art provides us with ways to analyze and study function of structures. And the great thing about art is it's all about design. From the artist's point of view, art is a total life commitment. To an artist, it's a way of life. Art influences what and where we go to study and practice art, such as art films, concerts, museums, and so on. You, the teacher, contribute the most to the society of tomorrow. You provide the creative energy for the students. You're, the energy that gets them started, that jump starts their judgments, their decisions. You aim them in dealing with contemporary issues, and you're just going to give them that flexibility to be original and just to really focus on creation. Let's focus on art in the school. Art is a value we share all of our lives. It's a universal subject. And, you can tie it into any other subject to really enhance just the overall learning. Our art objectives in the school should include such words as search, discover, inquire, involve, question, analyze, explore, reveal new possibilities, and to expand. We bring with us to the art experience our inherent abilities and past experiences. Through self-understanding, constant analysis, search, study, and continual practice in looking and expressing, you grow in your confidence and freedom to artistically express yourself in a significant and effective way. The more you're involved with an art study area, the more you learn and the greater is your success. And that's awesome to think about that when you're tying it into any subject area in the elementary or even middle school or high school and college. When classroom practice is narrow and limited, learning is very hard to achieve. You're depriving the students. In art, we probe with questions for responses such as, let's wait and see what happens, or maybe we need to explore some more. Another question would be, what would happen if you did the project again? This approach offers the student time to reflect, imagine, invent, discover, and consider more than one way of solving a problem. We must reassure and cultivate the entire child. We must treasure the painter, the sculptor, the musician, the dreamer, as well as the scientist, the mathematician, the fantasizer, and of course, the inventor. Here's a few places that students can go to get more insight, to explore and learn a little more about art, such as going to museums and galleries, artist studios, taking art classes from a museum. And I take my class to the Nelson every year, and it's just amazing. It's free. You get to see their permanent collection. They have a revolving collection as well. But below in their basement, they have rooms that you can actually take your students and create an art project while you're visiting.